Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material, your research, your reports, your notes, and distill everything you need to know about the topic at hand.
We deliver the essential knowledge and surprising insights, making it fast, engaging, and thorough.
Our mission today is all about the foundational element of any market offering, the product.
Right.
We are analyzing how great products are defined, how they're differentiated in these incredibly cluttered marketplaces, and critically, how they are managed over their entire life cycle.
And this focus is, it's absolutely essential. From a strategic perspective, the entire market offering is judged by the customer on three core inseparable elements:
Okay, what are they?
the features and quality of the product itself, the mix and quality of the services that are wrapped around it, and of course, the price.
And if you don't get the product right,
Then the rest of your marketing mix, your promotion, your distribution, all of it will fail. We are zeroing in on product strategy today. It's the ultimate source of long-term differentiation.
okay, let's unpack this with just a spectacular real-world case study of product strategy driving corporate survival. The saga of Ford Motor Company in the early 21st century.
That's a powerful example. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Ford was truly in deep financial and operational straits.
An existential crisis, really.
Absolutely.
We have to set the scene.
Yeah.
The early 2000s were just brutal for them. Ford was reeling from this massive safety controversy around its best-selling vehicle, the Ford Explorer.
That was a huge public relations nightmare.
And it was coupled with soaring global gas prices that just cratered demand for their core profit engines, the trucks and the big SUVs that had, defined the company for decades.
But maybe the biggest problem, most insidious one, was the perception issue.
Exactly. This widespread, pervasive public perception that Ford products just weren't high quality compared to their Japanese and European rivals.
That product reputation crisis, the lack of consumer confidence and reliability, that was the critical component that Mulally had to solve first. The market was telling Ford their basic offering was unacceptable.
Then, in 2006, Alan Mulally steps in as CEO. He was famous for prioritizing the product above everything else.
Right. And he famously rejected the government bailouts.
He did, which earned some initial goodwill, but he knew the company would live or die based on the intrinsic quality of their vehicles. They had to be reliable, stylish, and crucially, affordable.
He pivoted the focus entirely to what they built.
And this commitment to the product paid off in very concrete, very visible successes pretty quickly, which is rare for massive turnaround effort like that.
It really is.
Just look at the early wins. They launched a totally redesigned Ford Fusion, which got great mileage, and they bundled it with the innovative Sync hands-free system.
That was a huge feature at the time. It made the car feel technologically relevant.
It did. And they also had the Ford Flex SUV, which looked, distinctly urban and hip. It had a 7-seat layout and, memorably, a center console mini refrigerator.
It's funny how a single novel feature can sometimes capture the public's imagination like that.
These products caught attention and, more importantly, they started getting positive quality reviews.
But the truly strategic lever Mulally pulled wasn't just fixing a couple of models. It was leveraging Ford's massive global scale through the world car concept.
Right, this wasn't just local updates. This was fundamentally rethinking how cars were designed and manufactured to be almost identical across continents.
Maximizing efficiency and, crucially, quality control.
Exactly. The idea was simple, but the execution was really difficult. Create vehicles that, with only a few minor adjustments, could be sold everywhere.
And the Ford Fiesta hatchback became the shining example of this.
It did. Its design was based on extensive international research, and it was deliberately striking a rear that looked like a small SUV, these giant headlights, and a dashboard modeled after a cell phone keypad. It just felt current.
And the beautiful thing about that approach is that the reaction was uniformly positive, everywhere. It validated the idea that design could transcend local tastes if the quality and aesthetic were strong enough.
And the marketing that followed was just as innovative and product-centric. Before the U.S. launch, they leaned heavily into experiential and social media.
They weren't just running ads.
Not at all. They put 150 Fiestas on tour for test drives. And I think most effectively, they gave 100 Fiestas to prominent bloggers for 6 months to share their experiences authentically.
Giving the product a real digital voice, that social media strategy ensured the product entered the conversation with genuine, trusted recommendations before it even hit the dealerships. It dramatically reduced the risk of the launch.
The result was staggering. Thousands of pre-orders. While the rest of the U.S. auto industry was tanking during the Great Recession, Ford actually turned a significant profit in the first quarter of 2010.
It's the perfect illustration of our core thesis today.
At the heart of a great brand.
It's a great product. It has to be. It's the key to survival.
So, if the Fiesta is the great product, let's move from the tangible vehicle to the abstract definition. What exactly is a product beyond, the novelty mini refrigerator?
Right. Let's define our terms.
When we talk about product in marketing, a lot of people instinctively think of tangible goods, the car, the computer, a can of beer. But the marketing definition is much, much broader.
And intentionally so. A product is really anything that can be offered to a market to satisfy a want or a need.
And that definition is expansive because it has to cover the entire economy.
Absolutely. It includes physical goods, yes, but also services, experiences, events, persons like a celebrity endorsement or personal branding places, properties, organizations, information, and critically, ideas.
A marketer has to embrace this broad view because fundamentally they're providing value through one or more of these things.
And here's where it gets really strategically interesting. Understanding the 5 levels of the customer value hierarchy.
This might be the most important framework in product strategy.
I think so. It shows exactly how value is engineered and added level by level, from the most basic need up to the wildest future potential. It dictates where you compete.
So moving successfully through these 5 levels is how companies achieve differentiation and avoid, being turned into a commodity.
Exactly. Let's start at the absolute foundation. Level 1 is the core benefit. This is the fundamental essential service or benefit the customer is actually buying.
So marketers have to be intellectually honest here and see themselves as benefit providers.
Yes. The famous example holds true. A person buying a drill isn't paying for the object, they're buying the holes it creates. A hotel guest isn't buying a room, they were buying rest and sleep.
If you fail to satisfy that core benefit, everything else is wasted.
Precisely. Once that's defined, the product takes shape. Level 2, the basic product. This is the minimal physical form the core benefit takes.
So if the core benefit is rest, the basic product is the hotel room itself.
Exactly, which includes the physical necessities, a bed, a clean bathroom, a desk, basic lighting.
And the third level introduces expectations based on what the market considers standard.
Right. Level 3, the expected product. This is the set of attributes and conditions buyers normally expect when they purchase the product. For the hotel guest, this means a clean bed, fresh towels, lamps that work, and, relative quiet.
And the insight here for anyone in global strategy is that in many developing and emerging markets like India and Brazil, competition often stops right here.
It does. Meeting these minimum reliable expectations is often enough to win market share because local consumers might not trust or can't afford more complex augmentation.
But in mature, saturated markets, competition has to move beyond just meeting expectations.
That brings us to level 4, the augmented product. This is where a company exceeds customer expectations and where real differentiation happens. This level forces marketers to look at the user's total consumption system.
The entire sequence of how the user gets, uses, and disposes of the product.
And all the related services. Companies that map that system identify powerful opportunities for value-added services.
Okay, but wait. If augmentation always raises the bar, doesn't that make the whole strategy a bit of a zero-sum game? Why invest heavily if your competition is just going to copy it and turn your cool new feature into their point of parity?
That's a critical challenge in modern marketing. You have to invest because standing still means falling into commoditization. Each augmentation adds cost, and what is augmented today quickly becomes an expected benefit tomorrow.
Like high-speed internet in a hotel room.
Perfect example. That was once a premium augmentation. Today, it's a non-negotiable expected feature. The cycle is constant and it requires continuous, often expensive, innovation.
So if you're selling a pure commodity, how do you even begin to augment? How do you escape that cycle?
The Jamestown Container Company's case is brilliant for this. They tackled the cardboard box, the definition of a low-cost commodity.
Right.
They found differentiation not in the box itself, but in the service layer. Jamestown achieved augmentation by forming strategic partnerships to provide the entire shipping system.
So not just the boxes.
But the tape, the shrink wrap, the cutting services, everything a customer needed to process or ship their final product efficiently. Their COO called this reinvention a combination for survival. The product they actually sold evolved from a box to a logistical solution.
Which brings us to the final, most forward-looking level.
Level 5, the potential product. This encompasses all possible augmentations and transformations the product might undergo in the future. This is the strategic white space where developers should be constantly searching for new ways to distinguish the offering and anticipate the next generation of customer needs.
And we also see a strategic countertrend, don't we?
We do.
While augmentation is critical for high-end competition, you see the success of brands like Motel 6, which caters to clients who want only the basic or expected product at the lowest possible price.
They are deliberately eschewing the expensive, non-essential augmentations. It's a clear choice between maximizing value through features or maximizing value through price efficiency.
Okay, so once we understand these levels, we need to get more granular. We move to product classification.
Exactly. Products are systematically categorized based on durability, tangibility, and use, because each classification dictates a specific, appropriate marketing mix. You market a candy bar fundamentally differently than you market a factory generator.
Let's start with durability and tangibility. This dictates strategic investment in things like service and inventory.
Right. First, you have non-durable goods. These are tangible goods consumed quickly in one or a few uses, think beer or shampoo. Since they're bought frequently, the strategy is about high volume, wide availability, small markup, heavy advertising to induce trial and build preference.
Then you have the opposite.
Durable goods, tangible goods that survive many uses, like refrigerators or clothing. These have a longer consumption life cycle and higher cost, so they require a different approach. More personal selling, after-sale service, a higher margin to cover those costs, and robust guarantees to reduce buyer risk.
And the third category is services.
Services are fundamentally different. They're intangible, inseparable from the provider, variable in quality, and perishable. An empty appointment slot can't be saved. This dictates a need for stringent quality control, establishing high supplier credibility, and ensuring adaptability.
Like haircuts or legal advice.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's shift to how the customer actually shops for physical goods. This is the consumer goods classification.
And this is crucial because it dictates not only where you place the product, but how much you spend on promotion versus distribution.
First up, convenience goods. These are purchased frequently, immediately, and with minimal effort. The goal is just easy access.
And we break this down further. You have staples goods bought routinely, like Heinz ketchup. Strategy there is just replenishment and awareness.
Then you have the fun one, impulse goods.
Right. Purchased without any planning, like candy bars. Manufacturers place these strategically near checkout where you'll have that sudden, unplanned urge.
And emergency goods are purchased when a need is urgent, like an umbrella during a rainstorm.
Second, we have shopping goods. This is where the consumer actually compares suitability, quality, price, and style. They put in the effort. Think furniture or clothing.
And this is broken down too.
Yep. Homogeneous shopping goods are similar in quality, like specific models of washing machines, so price is the main reason for comparison. But heterogeneous shopping goods differ more in features and design, like designer clothing. Here, the features are more important than the price. The seller needs a wide assortment and highly trained salespeople.
Third, specialty goods. These have unique characteristics or a strong brand ID for which buyers make a special purchasing effort.
Like a Mercedes or specific stereo components, buyers are already convinced of the brand's superiority. They just invest time to reach the dealer carrying it. Comparisons aren't really necessary.
And finally, unsought goods.
The products the consumer doesn't know about or normally doesn't think of buying. Life insurance, smoke detectors, cemetery plots. These require significant advertising and personal selling to overcome that buyer inertia.
All right, shifting gears entirely to the B2B world. Let's look at industrial goods classification.
These products are classified based on their cost and how they actually enter the production process for a manufacturer. It fundamentally determines who the buyer is, the CEO, the purchasing manager, or an engineer.
So first we have materials and parts. These are goods that completely enter the manufacturer's finished product.
And this includes raw materials like farm products and natural products, and manufactured materials and parts, which can be component materials like iron or component parts like small motors that enter the product with no further changes.
Next are capital items.
These are long-lasting goods that facilitate production over time. The investment is significant. This includes installations, which are major purchases like buildings and heavy equipment. They involve long negotiations and direct sales.
And equipment.
That's shorter-lived portable factory or office equipment hand tools, PCs. The market is more dispersed, so they often use intermediaries. Quality, features, price, and service are the key considerations.
And the last category.
Supplies and business services. These are the short-term goods and services that facilitate production, kind of like consumer convenience goods.
So that's your MRO goods, maintenance, repair, and operating supplies. Paint, nails, paper.
Exactly. And then you have business services like copier repair or legal consulting. The decision to buy these is based almost entirely on the supplier's reputation and the quality of their staff.
Okay, so once we've classified where the product sits, the intense pressure to differentiate begins. As we saw with Jamestown, even for what seems like a pure commodity, some level of differentiation is always possible.
And for highly complex products like aircraft, the seller faces this enormous palette of differentiation possibilities. The art is deciding which variables to prioritize, understanding that crucial trade-off between customer value and company cost for every single addition.
Let's unpack the 9 key variables for physical product differentiation, starting with the most basic: form.
1. Form. This refers to the product's size, shape, or physical structure. Take a basic product like aspirin. It can be differentiated by dosage size, tablet shape, color, coating, or its action time. All are changes in form.
2. Features. These are the supplements to the basic function, and companies have to select these strategically.
Right, by calculating the customer value versus the company cost for each potential addition. And we have to emphasize the warning about feature fatigue.
That's the idea that consumers are initially attracted to a product with tons of features, but then get frustrated trying to use all those complexities.
Exactly. Companies need to prioritize a few core features and explain their benefit clearly. Auto companies mitigate this by offering features in bundles or trim levels, which lowers manufacturing costs while still giving customers structured choices.
3rd, customization, or mass customization.
This is the ability to meet each customer's requirements on a mass basis. It relies on gathering deep customer info and having flexible factories. Think Levi's custom jeans or online retailers like Zazzle.
The challenge is making sure customers can actually express what they want.
Precisely. Number 4, performance quality. This is the level at which the product's primary characteristics operate low, average, high, or superior. Strategy dictates you should design a performance level appropriate for your target market, not necessarily the highest possible.
And when managing that performance quality fails, the consequences can be catastrophic, as we saw with the Mercedes-Benz quality crisis.
Absolutely. From 2003 to 2006, their reputation for stellar quality, which justified their price premium, took a beating in J.D. Power surveys.
And the internal response was massive.
It was. They reorganized around functional elements motors, chassis. They started electronic testing a full year earlier and tripled their number of prototypes. This dedication paid off. Flaws dropped by 72% and warranty costs decreased by 25%.
Wait, if warranty costs dropped, that means customers were bringing cars in for repair far less often. Isn't that a conflict of interest for the dealers whose service departments rely on that repair business?
That's a fascinating conflict, and you've hit on a core strategic issue in the auto world. Yes, the decline in warranty work ironically caused a sizable drop in repair business for Mercedes dealers.
So what did they do?
It forced them to pivot their service model away from problem fixing to routine maintenance and customer relationship management. The long-term gain for the brand, the quality reputation, outweighed the short-term pain for the channel.
Okay, next variable, number 5, is conformance quality.
This measures the degree to which all produced units are identical and meet the promised specs. If you promise a 10-second 0 to 60 time, every unit has to hit that mark.
6, durability, the expected operating life. But this has to be weighed against technological obsolescence, right? No point in a cell phone that lasts 50 years.
Exactly.
No.
7, reliability. The probability a product won't fail. Maytag built its entire brand on this with the Lonely Repairman campaign.
8 is repairability, the ease of fixing a product. This is where diagnostic features and e-support come in.
And finally, number 9, style. The product's look and feel. Style creates distinctiveness that's hard to copy, justifying the premium for Apple computers or Montblanc pens.
So when the physical product is hard to differentiate, that's when adding and improving services becomes the dominant competitive lever.
Precisely. Consider Rolls-Royce and their aircraft engines. Their high demand isn't just because of the great engineering, it's the integrated service. Their Total Care program monitors engine health via live satellite feeds.
And the airline pays a fee per hour flown.
And Rolls assumes all the risk, cost, and logistics of downtime and repairs. That's the ultimate service differentiator selling uptime, not just a product.
Let's detail the 7 key service differentiators.
First, ordering ease. How simple is it to place an order? Second, delivery. Speed, accuracy, and care. Think of Cemex, the cement giant. They promise delivery faster than pizza, using GPS on every truck. If a load is over 10 minutes late, customers get a discount.
That's a massive advantage in construction. Third is installation. Fourth, customer training, like GE training hospital staff on X-ray equipment.
Fifth is customer consulting. Sixth, maintenance and repair. Best Buy famously used the Geek Squad for this, with their signature VW Beetles and distinctive attire. It's a memorable service brand.
And seventh, returns. An expensive reality. The advice is to eliminate controllable return seller errors while efficiently handling uncontrollable returns, like when a customer needs to try something on.
Right. Roadrunner Sports does this well. Their trained salespeople recommend the right running shoes, keeping their return rate low. And for the returns they do get, they make it seamless with prepaid labels.
Okay, we've discussed functional features and services. Let's zoom out to the overarching element that connects form, feel, and function design.
Design is the totality of features that affect how a product looks, feels, and functions. It appeals to both our rational and emotional sides.
And it's fundamental today because we live in an increasingly visual culture.
Designers have to balance form, features, and performance against the ease of manufacture, distribution, and use. It's an exercise in complex trade-offs.
We know design holds immense emotional power, translating directly into profit. Consumers would pay, on average, $204 more for a well-designed, high-end laptop. That's a pure aesthetic premium.
And in a crowded marketplace, style is often the only way to make a product stand out. Think of GM's design team for the Chevy Volt. They explicitly aimed to avoid the automotive Brussels sprouts look.
Good for you, but undesirable.
Exactly. They knew the design had to be sexy to drive mass adoption. It's the subtle touches that matter most.
Like the Boeing 777 interior.
Precisely. They used raised center bins and arched ceilings to make the cabin seem roomier. Passengers simply felt better without realizing the intensive design effort that manufactured that feeling.
Conversely, bad design can be a total disaster.
It can kill a product instantly. Sony's Evilla internet appliance was a classic example. It was so awkward and heavy, 32 pounds, that the manual recommended bending your knees to pick it up.
That's not an appliance, that's a gym machine.
Right. It was withdrawn after only 3 months because the physical design made the technology unusable.
So design needs to be a unified, holistic vision.
Coca-Cola exemplifies this. They established 4 core principles that apply to all their packaging, point of sale, and equipment. Bold simplicity, real authenticity, the power of red, and a familiar yet surprising nature. Every piece of marketing has to visually support that strategy.
So how do firms systematize this? What are the approaches?
The sources detailed 2 distinct approaches. The first is design thinking, a highly data-driven approach with 3 phases: observation, ideation, and implementation. Whirlpool used this to develop their Architect Series 7 kitchen appliances, ensuring a harmonized look based on how people actually use their space.
And the second approach relies on genius, not data.
That is instinctual design. This relies on the instincts of a handful of designers who rarely consult consumers. The Danish firm Bang & Olufsen is the standard bearer.
Their products are engineered for longevity and timelessness.
Exactly. Their BioLab 8000 speakers sold for a premium price in 1992 and still sold for an even higher premium 15 years later. Their stylish, durable designs command that price based purely on aesthetics and enduring heritage.
Which leads us directly into marketing luxury brands.
Yes, luxury brands are the purest expression of design-centric strategy. Image, intangible associations, and design are the primary competitive advantages. They are selling an aspirational dream.
And what are the prerequisites for building a successful luxury brand?
The common denominators are quality and uniqueness. The shopper has to feel they're getting something truly special and authentic. Hermès sells its classic leather goods for extravagant prices because they are marketed as objects that never go out of fashion.
So there's some core guidelines for managing these high-value brands.
There are. You have to maintain a premium, highly controlled image. You have to create strong, intangible brand associations. Every part of the consumption experience has to be perfect.
And brand elements like logos and packaging are critical equity drivers.
Absolutely. You also have to control distribution rigorously, use a strict premium pricing strategy with minimal discounts, and define competition broadly. You're competing for discretionary income, not just against other handbags.
The case examples are fascinating. Sub-Zero refrigerators target homeowners with high design standards, selling models up to $12,000.
Or Patron Tequila using an elegant, hand-blown decanter to convey luxury and uniqueness.
And in the commoditized diamond market, Hearts on Fire differentiated itself purely through a unique Hearts and Arrow cut, commanding a significant premium over competitors like Tiffany's.
They found a design-based, measurable advantage in an industry based on intangibles.
What are the dangers when luxury brands try to stretch their product lines?
Stretching is inherently risky because it threatens exclusivity. Vertical extension across price points works only if the differentiation is absolutely clear.
Like Armani, from high-end Giorgio Armani Privé down to the more affordable Armani Exchange.
Right. They manage it by ensuring each price point still delivers the core promise of style.
But horizontal extension into new, unrelated categories? That seems like the fastest way to dilution.
It is. Bulgari moving into hotels, chocolate, and skincare made some experts worry the brand was getting overstretched. And historically, designers like Pierre Cardin and Halston completely tarnished their brand equity by licensing their names to too many ordinary low-priced products.
But Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein did it successfully.
They did, by marketing an aspirational lifestyle across wide product ranges. The core image and aesthetic remained perfectly consistent. They sold a unified vision.
Okay, let's move on. We've established that few companies sell just one product. They manage entire portfolios.
Right, and this requires understanding the product's organizational structure, starting with the product hierarchy. This helps us see where individual decisions sit in the grand scheme.
Using life insurance as an example, there are 6 levels.
It starts with the need family, the core underlying need, like security. Then the product family, which are all the product classes that can satisfy that need, like savings and income.
Then the product class, or category, like financial instruments.
Then the product line, like life insurance. Then product type, like term life insurance. And finally, the item, or SKU, the distinct unit, like prudential renewable term life insurance.
That hierarchy structures the portfolio. But how do we manage the collection of these products?
Through product systems and product mixes. A product system is a group of diverse but related items that function compatibly. Think of the iPod system. The device plus all the compatible headphones, cables, and cases.
And the product mix.
Or product assortment is the set of all products and items a seller offers. Annie's mix includes communication and computer products. Michelin's mix spans tires, maps, and restaurant rating services.
We classify a product mix using 4 essential quantifiable dimensions.
Using a company like Procter & Gamble as our reference. First, width. How many different product lines the company carries?
Like detergents, toothpaste, bar soap, diapers, and so on.
Second, length. The total number of items or SKUs in the mix. Third, depth. How many variants are offered of each product? For Tide detergent, if they have 2 scents, 2 formulations, and 2 additives, the depth is 8 distinct variants.
And fourth, consistency.
Yeah.
How closely related the product lines are in terms of end use, production, or distribution channels.
Right. And these 4 dimensions are the strategic levers. For a company like P&G, they tend to focus less on expanding width and more on maximizing depth.
Why is that?
Because maximizing depth allows them to capture diverse consumer niches and dominate shelf space, which increases profitability and blocks competitor entry.
Okay, that analysis brings us to the actual management of these lines.
Right. Product line managers need to constantly optimize the mix. This requires 2 key pieces of information: the sales and profit contribution of each item, and the market profile of the line.
For sales and profits, you're often looking at an 80-20 rule.
Often, yes. In a 5-item line, the first 2 items might account for 80% of sales and 60% of profits. These are the cash cows you have to protect. The low-performing items are candidates for divestiture.
And for the market profile, you use product mapping.
Yes, this visually reviews the line's positioning relative to competitors using key attributes. It's crucial for identifying white space. You can see which competitor items are vying against your low-weight paper, for example.
And more importantly, it reveals gaps. If no one offers high-weight, low-quality paper, that's a potential market if demand exists.
So line length is a complex strategic decision. It's guided by your objectives. Do you want to induce upselling, like BMW moving customers from a 3 Series to a 7 Series?
Or cross-selling, like HP selling printers and computers.
Or do you need protection against economic swings, like Electrolux offering brands for budget, middle, and premium segments?
But the natural tendency is for lines to get longer.
Right. Always. Due to internal pressure, sales teams always want a fuller line. But lengthening lines raises costs, and critically, it can cause that cognitive burden we mentioned, customer confusion. We know from studies that consumers choose more often from 6 jam flavors than from 24.
Less is often more.
It is.
So how do companies strategically lengthen the line while managing those risks.
Through line stretching. First, there's the down market stretch, introducing a lower price line. This is motivated by tapping mass retailers or tying up lower-end competitors.
Naming strategy is key here. You can use the parent brand, a sub-brand, or a completely different name, like Gap's Old Navy.
The primary risk is cannibalization and brand image loss. Kodak Funtime film failed because it was priced too high to compete with generics, but low enough to cannibalize the core brand.
But the Mercedes C-Class succeeded.
It did, because consumers recognized a functional difference and granted the brand permission to operate in different segments.
Then you have the upmarket stretch, entering the high end for growth.
Examples are Haagen-Dazs and Evian. Japanese auto companies recognized their core brands lacked the necessary prestige, so they used entirely new names: Lexus, Infiniti, Acura to enter the luxury segment.
And finally, the two-way stretch.
Serving the middle market and stretching both ways. Robert Mondavi Winery sells from affordable Woodbridge up to their $125 reserve.
The Intercontinental Hotels Group case is a textbook example of avoiding cannibalization through this.
It is. They broke Holiday Inn into 4 distinct lines: Ground Plaza, Holiday Inn Express, and Holiday Inn Select, each with unique branding and programs.
Then there's line filling, adding items within the present range.
Right. The motives are to plug holes to deter competitors or utilize excess capacity. The critical challenge, again, is preventing self-cannibalization. You need a just noticeable difference between items.
This ties to Weber's law.
Exactly. The noticeable difference between two product variants isn't absolute, it's relative. The new product must be perceptually different enough to justify its price, but similar enough not to confuse the core buyer.
And BMW is the master of this.
They are, moving from 5 models to 30 in 4 years, filling every gap. The risk for Volkswagen is managing their sister brands. Upgrading Seat and Skoda too much could dilute the cachet of Audi and VW if the difference is no longer just noticeable.
Okay, and then you have line modernization, featuring, and pruning.
Modernization is overhauling the line. Timing is a gamble. Too early hurts current sales, too late lets competitors establish reputation. Featuring highlights one or a few items, either a low-priced one to attract traffic, or a high-end one for prestige, like Nike's Air Force One.
And pruning is the strategic elimination of deadwood.
Unilever's Path to Growth program famously cut 3/4 of its 1,600 brands, focusing resources on 400 core brands like Lipton and Persil.
Which brings us to pricing the entire mix.
Yes, product mix pricing. You're searching for a set of prices that maximizes profit on the total mix, not just on each item.
Let's run through the 6 situations. 1. Product line pricing. Establishing clear price steps that align with perceived quality tiers, like men's suits at $300, $600, and $900.
2. Optional feature pricing. Pricing options separately, common in autos and restaurants. The restaurant model is often to make food cover costs, while high pricing on beverages generates the profit.
3. Captive product pricing. Pricing the main product low, but setting high markups on ancillary products. Think razors and blades.
This relies on understanding price elasticity. The initial razor purchase is highly elastic, but once they own it, the captive product, the blade, is extremely inelastic. They have to buy it.
The Hewlett-Packard printer case is the definitive example here.
It is. HP drastically cut printer prices because they knew customers spend twice as much on replacement ink and toner, which carry profit margins of 45 to 60%. They sacrificed the main product margin to capture the aftermarket profit.
4. Two-part pricing. A fixed fee plus a variable usage fee, common in services like cell phone contracts.
5. Byproduct pricing. Pricing residual products based on their value. Any income from byproducts lets you charge a lower price on the main product.
And 6. Product bundling pricing.
Which can be pure bundling, where you offer products only as a bundle, or mixed bundling, offering goods individually and in bundles where the bundle is significantly cheaper.
Okay, let's talk about brands combining their efforts.
Yes, co-branding. This leverages the equity of multiple partners.
Also known as dual branding.
Right. It combines 2 or more established brands into a joint product or markets them together. We see it in a few forms. Same company, joint venture like the Citibank Advantage card, multiple sponsor, or retail co-branding like Pizza Hut and Taco Bell sharing a location.
The advantages are clear. You combine positioning, gain sales, access new channels, but the risks are substantial, mostly around control and dilution.
That's right. Consumer expectations are high, so unsatisfactory performance hurts both brands instantly. For co-branding to succeed, both brands must have existing equity and there has to be a compelling logical fit.
So they should be complementary, not redundant.
Exactly.
And a special case of this is ingredient branding.
A powerful one, yes. It focuses on materials or components contained within other branded products, like Dolby noise reduction, Gore-Tex, or Scotchgard fabrics.
And we're seeing more self-branded ingredients.
We are. Companies trademark their own components to gain control. Westin Hotels trademarked its Heavenly Bed and Heavenly Shower, and now they're so popular they sell them via catalog.
The ultimate strategic goal, like Intel Inside, is to create enough consumer preference for the ingredient that people won't buy the host product without it.
And achieving that dominance requires a four-step strategy. 1, the ingredient must be seen as vital and have intrinsic value. 2, consumers must be convinced it's superior.
3, a distinctive logo or seal must clearly signal its presence.
And 4, a coordinated pull and push program is needed, advertising to consumers to create demand and promotions to ensure channel support.
Okay, let's wrap up our product discussion with the elements consumers interact with daily. Packaging, often called the fifth P.
And its influence at the moment of purchase is profound. It's the buyer's first encounter, an immediate 5-second commercial.
Its importance is driven by a few key factors in modern retail.
Right. Self-service, the package has to sell itself on the shelf. Consumer affluence people will pay more for convenience and prestige. Company and brand image distinctive packaging creates a billboard effect and innovation opportunity.
The 5 objectives are identify the brand, convey information, facilitate transport, assist storage, and aid consumption.
Aesthetically, color is a powerful tool. But package redesign carries high risk. We saw this with Tropicana in 2009. They tried to modernize the juice packaging, downplaying the brand name and replacing the iconic straw in an orange graphic.
And consumers hated it.
Hated it. They didn't recognize the brand, called it ugly, and sales plummeted 20%. PepsiCo had to revert to the old packaging after just 2 months, a very expensive lesson.
And now there are growing environmental concerns with packaging.
Yes, like Frito-Lay's compostable Sun Chips bag. Great for green branding, but they had to withdraw it for some flavors because consumers complained about how noisy the bags were.
Okay, then there's labeling.
Labels have 4 functions. They identify, grade, describe, and promote the product. And this is heavily regulated by the FTC and FDA, especially around nutritional information and misleading descriptions like light or low fat.
Finally, we have warranties and guarantees.
Warranties are legally enforceable statements of expected performance. Extended warranties are huge profit centers for retailers like Best Buy.
And guarantees are often used strategically to reduce buyer risk and imply superior quality.
Right. P&G offers a general guarantee of complete satisfaction. More specific guarantees, like AT Cross guaranteeing pens for life, convey exceptional reliability. And strategically, Hyundai and Kia used aggressive 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty programs to assure skeptical buyers of their quality and stability.
Okay, to synthesize everything, let's look at 2 industry giants that define their markets through product strategy: Caterpillar and Toyota.
Great examples. Caterpillar, founded in 1925, dominated for decades. But the recession of the early 80s, combined with high prices and a rigid bureaucracy, nearly caused its collapse. They lost $6.5 billion in 1982 alone.
Their turnaround was massive, focusing entirely on product and organizational structure.
They took 4 core steps. 1, they confronted and outlasted the UAW in long strikes to get labor flexibility. 2, they decentralized into independent, P&L responsible business units.
Increasing agility and accountability.
3, they invested almost $2 billion in factory modernization, automating with just-in-time and flexible manufacturing. And 4, R&D became a massive priority with a $2 billion annual budget.
This commitment to product innovation and quality management is why Caterpillar ranks number 1 or 2 in every industry it serves.
And their business model is a masterclass in service differentiation. Only 53% of sales come from products. The rest is from integrated services and support delivered through their extensive, decentralized global dealer network.
And their segmented global strategy is brilliant. In China, they divided their strategy into world-class, mid-tier, and low-end segments, focusing their innovation on the world-class machinery to maintain dominance.
Let's turn to Toyota. Their decades of success were built on manufacturing excellence. They mastered lean manufacturing and continuous improvement, with plants able to make up to 8 different models simultaneously.
Their market agility is remarkable, with a global assembly network that can custom fit cars for local markets. And their product line breadth is a perfect two-way stretch, from Scion to Lexus.
The Lexus strategy, passionate pursuit of perfection, is a fascinating study in nuanced differentiation. They understand perfection is defined differently around the world. U.S. buyers want comfort and size, Europeans want detail and heritage.
And the Scion strategy was all about personalization for young buyers. The car was built mono-spec at the factory, but allowed over 40 dealer-installed customization elements.
They were also innovators with the Prius hybrid. But all this rapid growth eventually led to a failure in conformance quality. The 2009-2010 massive recall of over 8 million vehicles. This was a direct failure in managing the conformance quality of their complex electronic systems.
President Akio Toyoda's testimony before Congress summed it up perfectly. We pursued growth over the speed at which we were able to develop our people and our organization.
The cost was staggering, upwards of $6 billion and a 4% drop in global market share. Their recovery efforts, like offering 2 years of free maintenance, show how a quality crisis forces you back to basics, using guarantees to try and convince skeptical buyers that the fundamental quality is still there. A painful reversal.
We've covered a vast landscape today. Setting product strategy is a high-stakes balance of constant innovation, rigorous classification, competitive differentiation, and uncompromising quality management.
And all while navigating the cycle where augmentation quickly becomes mere expectation.
It truly is amazing how quickly a unique product feature becomes a necessary point of parity, forcing companies from Ford to a box company like Jamestown to constantly innovate and reach for that potential product level just to stay ahead.
You can never stop running the augmentation race.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner, as you design or redefine your market offering?
Well, here's a final thought. If luxury brands rely so heavily on intangible associations, aspirational imagery, and design heritage to justify extravagant prices, how might companies that manufacture essential, low-margin products, like basic pharmaceuticals or staple foods, replicate that sense of specialness or unique, trust-based value purely through smart packaging design and radical ingredient transparency, without resorting to expensive co-branding agreements?
It's a design and trust challenge that redefines value at the absolute bottom of the hierarchy.